Hey. Oh, man. Everyone here has prepared really, really great stories, and I've been enjoying them so far. I have a story that I just wanted to share with you really quickly. It happened to me back in college. I hated my roommates sophomore year, and I really didn't get along with them. I didn't know what they were up to at any time. And one day I came home after work, and I come home to our dorm, and there's a full-on party going on, right? I had no idea the party was about to happen. I just come home to a party, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. You know what I mean? I'm down to party. So I'm hanging out, drinking, whatever. This guy comes up to me, and he has like a six-pack of beer, and I guess this is when I learned the lesson: never take an open beer from a stranger. Yeah. I was kind of retarded. I was a college student. As most are probably. But so I take this beer. And turns out the beer was laced with acid. Right? And so I'm drinking it, and it's one thing to like do acid and expect shit to happen, you know what I mean? Completely a different thing when you're like drinking a Bud Light and like the fucking walls start melting. You know, and like Felix the cat is like chasing President Bush, you know, and you're just like... And so this is all happening in front of my eyes, right? And I'm just like, what's going on? And this guy obviously knows what's up, so he's like taking advantage of the situation. He's like, hey man, do you need some like fresh air or something? You look like you use some fresh air. And I'm like, yeah man, let's go outside. I need some fresh air. So we go out, and this guy, he leads me away from the dorms, all right? Into like... Don't worry, it doesn't get too crazy. You guys are all getting tense. I can see it. My story won't be on Lifetime, don't worry. So he leads me away from the dorms, right? And into like the apartments, which is close by the campus where all like the grad students live and everything. And it's really dark, and he's saying some trippy shit. Like he's fucking like... I remember, I don't remember much, but I remember him like climbing on top of like there was like a 2-story building or something. He got on the balcony, and he had his shirt off at one point, and he was all like into stigmata and shit, and he's like, look at these, he's showing me this wound, and I was just like, what the fuck is going on? And all I could remember from like those childhood like Danger Stranger videos was get to a public, well-lit place, right? That's all I can remember. So I'm there, and in my head, I'm like, all right, I'm going to have to like get this guy over to... And so I didn't want to piss him off, though, because a part of me was like, what if he really is God? Like, what if he... like, I don't know. I knew something was going on with my head, but I was like, maybe this is just an apparition of some sort, or some kind of like, you know, incarnation. I didn't know what the fuck was going on, so I didn't want to piss him off. But at the same time, for my own safety, my own comfort, I was like, I want to get it to a place where there's more lights and more people, all right? And so I very politely, you know, it must have been hilarious just to watch me. And I was just like, hey man, can we go to Starbucks? Because there's this Starbucks like half a mile away. So he's like, yeah, sure. So we go to Starbucks. We're sitting at Starbucks, right? And I was like, all right, I'm feeling a little better. There's lights, people. And then all I could think of was like how I needed to call my friend to like come get me, like my friend who's back up in the dorms. And in my mind, I was like, how am I going to do this? Because he's looking right at me. It's like a tiny table. He's sitting here, and I'm sitting, we're just looking at each other. And he's just crazy shit's coming out of his mouth. And all I could think was like, how am I going to call my friend? He can see me. What am I going to do? How am I going to do this? And then I had this brilliant idea where I go, I'll make myself invisible. I had that thought. And I was like, oh, sweet. Of course. Totally forgot I had power of invisibility. It's like I was playing a video game and I forgot I had an extra life or something. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna make myself invisible. So I pulled this move where somehow I just thought he couldn't see me now, even though he's like 2 feet away just staring at me. And I pull this move where like I reach into my pocket and like pull out my phone. And I pull up my phone like up to and I call my friend, and I'm just looking right at him. Just dead at him, just without breaking eye contact. I'm like, dude, I don't know what's going on. I'm at Starbucks, come get me, you know. And I put the phone away back in my pocket, and I'm just still looking at him, and he's like, who did you call? And all I could say back was, how did you know? And he was just staring at me with these cold eyes, you know, like the leader of Heaven's Gate, if you guys remember that shit. Like a fucking cult, like he was wearing brand new shoes. We were about to kill ourselves. It was weird. So then all of a sudden my friend, he kicks the door into Starbucks. Not just like, you know, he kicks it open. And he was all colleged out, so he had his fucking sandals and, you know. And he kicks it, and he had a broomstick. Where he got a broomstick, I have no idea. We didn't have a broomstick at the dorm, and there was nothing but like the apartment and Starbucks. In between that was just a bunch of residential shit. So I don't know if he stole a fucking broomstick. I don't know where he got the broomstick. But he walks in, and he like walks up to our table. He's all breathing heavily because apparently he ran. And he like grabs my arm, and I get up, and he looks at the guy, and he's like, "We're leaving now." Like, it was like straight out of an 80s action flick. And I thought he was, you know, he's probably just keeping his composure. I was like, it was weird. I had this moment where I felt so secure, and it's an ultimate bromance experience. And I thought he was like cool and calm. As soon as we walk out of Starbucks, he's like, dude, run, and we just book it, and we just run for who knows how long. I can't remember. Well, it was approximately about a mile or 2 miles, which is a lot for me. But and we get back to the dorm, and the campus paramedics, whatever, they come over, and they're examining me, and they're like, "We're pretty sure you're like on LSD or something." And I was like, "Oh, that's great." And turns out I found out later, the guy actually went on later that night. He stole a car that night, and there was a helicopter chase, and they caught him. And for years, I was like, that's fucking crazy. He stole a car. But now that I think about this story more and more, it's probably my friends just fucking with me. You know what I mean? Like, that probably didn't even happen at all. And, yeah, anyways, that's the story of my experience in college. Thank you guys very much.
Rajan Dharni.